Take it away.
Yep, this is correct. Thank you very much for the introduction. Can everyone hear me and see the screen that I'm trying to share currently?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, simple yes would suffice. Fantastic. I'm so honored to be able to present together with my peers and my former students this topic that we experimented with in semester 2 2020. We are supposed to talk how we changed one of the assignments from the previous format and how we changed it and what happened as a result. And because we will be talking exactly about that, the video presentation I'm about to show will be an example of this kind of authentic assessments that our students were invited to develop, create a video, and share with the class. So all of you currently are in our virtual classroom. So virtual classroom it is.
And I think at uni, sometimes you're given one correct approach. And so it's easy to kind of get started. This was a bit different. So I think in the beginning, I think there was a lot of uncertainty and mixed emotions. We got past that hurdle and we started brainstorming and coming up with ideas. I think that's when we started to get really excited about it. Because we were the ones leading the class or leading the class discussion, we knew that involved having people ask us questions. And so that required us to do a lot of deeper learning and to have a really thorough understanding of the topic at hand, kind of created this extra responsibility on us to do further research, which I guess in a normal class setting, maybe you could get away with not doing as much research because you're just passive participants and you're just listening to what the teacher says and what you've heard in the lecture and you're just responding. I think, yeah, when we opened up the floor to discussion, it was just interesting to hear what the other perspectives, what other classmates brought to the table. And yeah, I think that was also something new. I hadn't really been exposed to that in other classes before, because usually you just submit your essay and you get feedback on that, but you aren't really involved in a full-on discussion.
I feel like the flipped classroom approach makes feedback more normal, because it's more of a conversation between everyone in the Zoom or anyone in the classroom rather than just the lecturer talking to the students.
I found it really enjoyable being able to give feedback to other students because
the flipped classroom approach seemed to equalize us all, like as students and across with the teaching staff as well. And I felt encouraged and supported to give feedback to other students, not even just through the systems that we had in place on Canvas where we would go and provide feedback to our buddy, but even just in the broader classroom, in the tutorials. And I sort of made it my personal mission each week to engage some of the students who were less engaged with the content and try to support them in their learning. And two of them in particular had a really nice conversation with me about how much they valued that. And from their perspective, they were able to get feedback from teachers, from students in the moment, not even waiting 3 weeks. Like they get up there, present on something in front of the class, they come away and we debrief on it and talk about how they feel they went, what could they do better, how could they be more involved in the classroom? Is it a matter of understanding of content or is it a matter of preparation? And how can they prepare better for class? And that feedback was much more ongoing throughout the entire semester. It wasn't, you submit your assignment and wait 3 weeks for the results. And so for me, like feedback would have scored well above a 5 if that was an option on the scale.
Cool.
It seems like the very structured lecturers wouldn't be willing to try a flipped classroom approach because maybe they're more traditional in their teaching style. They're not as comfortable with, ambiguity and dealing with questions on the spot.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the nature of the flipped classroom obviously invites a lot less structure, and that's inevitable. The challenge and I like what you said, Georgia, about the tutor and the lecturer, because it's definitely up to them to, it's kind of like you're driving a car and it's going all over the place, but you got to have some wiggle room so you can have valuable discussion, but you're still on the right course, right? Not being so perfect to make all the right turns on the GPS, but you can have that freedom to explore different routes, but also end up at the destination you want to go, which is whatever you're trying to understand. And one thing I wrote down is what the flipped classroom is very good at doing is helping people understand and apply content as opposed to just know content.
It was like an incredible learning experience and I really loved it. And it was new and exciting and a bit challenging in the beginning, but it was definitely a rewarding and insightful experience.
Okay, so that's it with the video presentation. And as you already noticed, our students are so much better than us. So having said that, I immediately transfer the word to Georgia, the former student in this class, who will do a wrap-up.
Thanks, Maria. So now I'll just briefly discuss what you can do as lecturers and tutors to improve the learning experiences of students. And that's beyond just the design of assessments, as we talked about in the video. So the main point that we wanted to make today is that it's much more engaging, particularly in the online learning environment, when the students feel like they're on a level playing field with their lecturers and tutors because they feel like their voice is important. So this reflects a students as partners approach, as you saw in the video. One of the first things that we discussed as a group when Maria brought us onto this project was the idea of closing the loop in relation to the unit of study surveys. Most students aren't actually aware that this closing the loop happens, and they don't know that unit coordinators respond to the student feedback. So we have two possible solutions to address this issue and actually close the loop and make students feel like their voice is being heard. So firstly, unit coordinators could communicate the proposed changes to the cohort of students that provided the feedback. So this could be done with just an email or a Canvas announcement to let students know how the unit will be changed in the future. And a second and potentially more useful way of closing the loop would be for lecturers and tutors to clearly communicate how the unit of study has been adjusted based on feedback from previous students. And this could be done in the first lecture. And then other ways to engage students beyond just the unit of study surveys could be in the first lecture to ask students what they want to gain from your unit of study and to make sure that you make changes to actually make this happen. So this is something Maria did in organizational communication last year, and it was really clear that she adapted the course to meet our goals. So for example, your students may want to learn about how the content can be applied in their future career or particular industries that they're interested in.
2 minutes.
So to address this goal, you could then hear from industry professionals by having a few guest speakers throughout the semester, and also things like this. So can you offer students opportunities outside of the classroom to be a part of these conferences and engage with the university community in different ways? And if you're doing a research project on a particular topic that is related to what you've taught in a unit of study, are you able to engage a few students in the unit in this process? So the students as partners approach is already being discussed in the university, particularly in the business school, but there is a big gap between the research that's been done and the actual teaching practices. So we urge all of our audience members here today to adopt our students as partners approach in your teaching as soon as possible and to spread this message to your colleagues. If we continue in the direction that we're heading, with parts of the learning experience being online, taking every single opportunity to engage with students and remind them that they have an important part to play is very critical to their engagement. Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you very much, Georgia. Thank you. We are done.
Thanks very much.